Hey, some of the guys have been talking about how some of the players in meetings, you'll put them up on the board and you'll list highlights of their career and their family and, kind of things like that in meetings. How long have you been doing that and why do you do that?
Yeah, it's always been part of, originally I was brought into this league by Pete Carroll, and he was all about connection and caring for people, and his teams always played hard. And, when I'm in leadership positions, I wanted to enhance that. And it's really hard to coach somebody till you know them and that they really know that you care. So that's all we're doing. And we've had so much fun getting to know the players on our defense and the coaches on our defense. It started with our staff. So it's been a blast. I know personally I can coach better if I know you.
If I can follow up with another feature-oriented question, Vic Fangio, what has he meant for your career? I mean, were you a 4-3 guy before Fangio,
Yeah. Yes,
and how did you change to 3-4, and what has he
Yeah.
meant to turning into the guy you are today?
Yeah, well, he means a lot to me. It's a great relationship. We navigated a lot of football together at different places and put in schemes. I was a 4-3 guy for 14 or 15 years. I came in with Pete and Monty, and then there was a time I was out of a job. I went up to study with Eric Mangini, and that was a real basic 3-4, and I learned their style. And then I jumped in with Mike Nolan and learned his style. And then I got with Vic, and he had a style, and then we kind of developed and evolved some stuff over the years. And you always got to keep evolving, but I'm indebted to him. It's been a great working relationship and a lot of fun trying to set up a team against really good offenses.
Hey Ed, what's your stance on 7-on-7 work in practice? Whether is that still valuable? Do you find it less so?
Yeah, 7-on-7. There's a purpose for it. You want to rest your big guys some during that time, and we can get a lot of recognition, speed recognition on the pass. We lose the play action, run pass part of the ID for our players, but I've always been a fan of it, and sometimes they're going to hold the ball a little bit longer, but that happens in real football, so we got to be ready to adjust and react.
Ed, when you talk about the 4-3 and 3-4 with teams playing nickel and dime so much now, I guess how much is left of the old school 3-4 when you first started learning it to kind of where its place is now on defense?
Yeah, it's always evolving. The 3-4 has. It's evolved since we've been together these last 11 years, Vic and I. But it just really comes down to your personnel. This group won't look the same as any other group we've coached because every group's different. And when you've coached enough different groups, you know how to adjust it as a coach. And it's a tremendous advantage to have been 4-3 because you know what things you want to draw from both systems. And I like all those teachers that I had in the early part of my 3-4 education and then being with Vic.
Why do you think the 3-4 has become as in vogue as it has been the last 10, 15 years?
I like there's a reason for it. It's really the RPOs. Guys, when they're standing up, they can see more, all the jet and fly motion. So there's so many things happening to the edges of your defense that those guys have to have information. And when their hands in the dirt and they're down low, they don't see those things, and it makes it difficult to play.
Mark had asked you about another training camp on Monday, and you talked about, it's always a thrill and all that. Yeah. Obviously, 32 years in the NFL, etc. Are you a coaching lifer? Are you the type of guy that's just going to coach until they have to carry you out, or what exactly?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. I'm on a 5-year plan. I evaluate every time after every year. I say, hey, I got 5 more. What's going to happen there? But really, I don't know. I can't remember having this much fun. And it's this staff that Kevin put together. We're a very connected staff. The players in this locker room, I heard a lot about them, but it's just a great locker room. And when you're a place where people are learning and evolving around you, and we have cutting edge people. Kwesi has a young group of guys, and they're into the science, and our medical is good. And I haven't had this much fun in a while. So, I'm ready to go, and I think good things will happen.
The 2 defensive linemen that are set to start take the most snaps are primarily known as run stuffers. What are you going to do to try and create an interior pass rush?
Oh, we're always doing that. That's the answer to the game. It's a passing league. If you don't get the run stop, it's not going to be a lot of fun. They're going to dictate everything they want. But It's a good question, but it's an involved. There's a lot of answers to that. We're always looking for one little thing, either an alignment of men or some trait a guy has to add to that rush. So we're constantly searching.
Just to follow up on that, Dalvin Tomlinson has said that he wants to, do better, putting pressure on the quarterback. What does he need to do, and how's he coming along in that particular area?
I just think he needs to keep working in practice. He's had a good camp. He's working toward getting his weight where he wants it, and he's showing that speed and quickness. He's a delight to have in the room with our guys, a real pro.
We're going to get a lot of reps for Booth and Saint on the scheduled off day for Harrison Smith and Pat Peterson. What's the benefit when guys know they might get more reps versus day of game type? It's the first time they're getting into the starting lineup.
Hearing your question, when we're giving our veteran players rest, it just bumps up the teaching and the opportunity and the excitement and to look at different combinations. Sometimes you discover things as coaches when different guys are in there together. So I think it is a good step up when a guy has to run with the ones that hasn't been doing that. And we just welcome that whenever it happens, because you never know when a guy is going to pull a chin strap off and have to come off for a play or two.
When you're going from a 4-3 to a 3-4, is there a certain position that takes longer to adjust to that shift?
Yeah, there's things. These outside edge guys, and Mike Smith does a great job coaching our edges, and it's a craft. It's a doggone craft. And it's easy to say setting the edge, but there's so much information that goes into it, so much toughness, so much ruggedness, so much transition to rush, when to, when not to, all these things coming to you on the edge. So that's a place. The other thing that makes that tough is a lot of the guys that play that position are 4-3 ends in college. And so when they got to come up, there's a year usually for, of transition involved in that. So that's a tough one. The rest of the stuff is similar. Now, secondary isn't a lot different. Okay, it's really the edges and the setup.
And how can you identify if a 4-3 edge rusher in college has the capability to drop back into coverage, has the ability to carry in the middle of the field, do all those things?
Good question. There's a lot that goes into it. There's his workout, the combine, anything we've seen where they might have dropped in a fire zone, in college or something of that sort. But they are 2/3 defensive end, defensive lineman, and 1/3 outside backer dropper. So we want that ruggedness. We want guys that are thick-hipped, that can really have power and play tough. Yeah.
How important is the mental side of it, and understanding that when you are playing that more stand-up spot, you got to maybe think a little bit more?
It starts with, if you can rush the passer, you can play with physicality, we're going to teach you. Okay, if you have that stuff, 'cause those are rare qualities. We have the teachers that can get it done, and we're confident.
When it comes to that, just what makes Zadarius Smith such a perfect fit for the system?
Yeah. Well, he has a head start on everybody. He has the same coach here, and he's been playing the position. But he has instincts with his hands. He's very instinctive, and that's what sets him apart from, other guys in the league that are playing the position. That's good. Thank you, guys. Have a nice afternoon.